a tutorial question written there, number 1.
I can see it, sir.
That's good. So this is the first one we're starting with. We always start with the very simple one, easy one, and it says calculate the sequence components of the following balanced phase voltages with ABC as the phase sequence. ABC is the phase sequence. Let me quote unquote it so that we don't get confused. ABC is the phase sequence and it's a balanced set of voltages that are given. VA, VB, VC are given. VA is 132 kilovolt at 0 degree. VB is 132 at minus 120 degree. This is also kilovolt. VC is 132 kilovolt at 120 degree. We have to calculate the sequence components, meaning the sequence components of the voltages, and for that we know the formula how to calculate them. You have to open those if you don't have it in front of you, but to assist you, I'm writing the first one. What we need to calculate? We need to calculate VA0. We will need to calculate VA1. We will need to calculate VA2 using the formula that we know. So this is what is being asked in this question. And for all these three, we have worked on the theoretical part where we know the formula for each of them. So VA0 is 1/3 of sum of all those three phase voltages. So VA plus VB plus VC. So you should now be able to substitute those values of VA, VB and VC and tell me the answer when you have it. It should not take more than 2 minutes from now. You write, you do this calculation. You don't have to look at the screen on admitting people. I will do that.
So
yes.
Would VA0 be equal to 0?
Yes. Can the others confirm that they are getting it 0? You can put your microphone on, or you can write down on the chat facility. Who got it 0? Please let me know before we go to VA1.
Got 0.
Okay, that's good.
I also got 0.
Who was it? Sabelo. Okay, so we got it 0. I think everyone should get it 0. It's not too difficult. Osibusiso got it 0. That's good. So we go to the next one, positive sequence voltage. So what you must do, you must write it here. In tutorials, we sometimes do the shortcut. We don't write much, but during the test and examination and in any report, you must write the full word. You must write 0 sequence voltage. Then you write the equation. If you don't write, you lose mark. So the positive sequence voltage VA1 is again 1/3 VA plus AVB plus A squared VC. So you can now substitute those values of VA, VB, VC and find out the answer. Positive sequence voltage VA1 is, thank you Luvo for your answer getting it 0. VA1 is 1/3 VA plus AVB plus squared VC.
Sorry, sir.
Mhm.
Would the positive sequence voltage be equal to VA, 132 kilovolts?
132 kilovolts, and we must also know the angle. Without angle is not complete. 132 kilovolt, and what is the angle?
Is it 0, sir?
Yes. So I want to hear it from others if they are getting 132 kilovolt at an angle 0 degree. You must write the unit along with the answers all the time, otherwise it's meaningless. 132 kilovolt at 0 degree. When you get it, just please let me know so that we don't sit on this. Can go to the next one to calculate negative sequence voltage.
Sequence voltage.
Okay, that's good. Thank you very much, Luvo. Anyone else? I need at least one or two more of you. Anyone else? Should not take so long. You must always keep your calculator with you when you're doing these things, and books, pen or pencil ready. Okay, let me go to the negative sequence voltage, which is VA2. Again, it's 1/3 times VA plus, now it's a squared VB. A squared VB plus a VC, and is squared. So if we calculate that one, what will be the answer? Let me know.
So that should be 0 as well.
Yes, that is also 0. I want to hear it from others as well. Mishan is saying 0. Thank you very much.
Also got 0.
You also got 0. That's good. Anyone else? Okay, so I guess you will get it. Now the thing is that we want to go to the observation now from that tutorial that we did. What we observed, the problem stated that it is with ABC phase sequence and conventionally this is considered as the positive phase sequence, right? The problem has stated that ABC is the phase sequence, and conventionally we know that the ABC is the positive sequence, and that is why from the solution we observe that positive sequence voltage is positive sequence voltage VA1 is equal to VA. The reason is that the system is balanced. The magnitudes are the same. The voltage phasors, you must write down what I'm typing now, are separated from each other by 120 degree. If you just can observe the phase voltages that are given in the problem. So the first one VA is at 0 degree, the next one is minus 120 degree, and the VC is 120 degree. So they are separate, and this is confirmed by the zero sequence voltage and negative sequence voltage to be equal to 0. So when we have a balanced system, we will get only one sequence component. If we have a balanced system, we will get only one sequence component, and we got that. The other two are absent. What is present here is supposed to be corresponding to the phase sequence. The one we have magnitude, the VA1, which is positive sequence, has a magnitude, and that is going to be equal to the magnitude and angle of the VA reference phasor, because its sequence is positive sequence. That is what was given in the problem statement in the first place. Is this clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. I give you few moments for you to write it down, because some of you are a bit slow, you don't write much. So make sure that you have taken note of what is written there from the observation and the solution. What I typed there in terms of text, you must write that down in your notebook. Can we go to the next one? Let me know if I can go to the next tutorial.
Yes, you can go to the next question.
Thank you very much. It's similar. The next one is similar, but it's working with the current now. It says the three-phase currents of a star-connected load are given with ACB as the phase sequence. I changed the phase sequence to ACB. ACB is considered as negative phase sequence. So we'll check the sequence components of currents. We have to determine the sequence components of currents. The currents are given here: IA 10 at an angle, at an angle 0 degree, IB 10 at an angle 120 degree, IC 10 at an angle minus 120 degree, and the unit is kiloampere. We have to determine the phase sequence components of current. And how do we do that? Again, it's the same thing. We write zero sequence current IA0 is equal to 1/3 of IA plus IB plus IC. So you can calculate and tell me the value of this one.
Zero sequence.
Yes, it's 0. I want to hear it from others.
Yes, I got the same.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? So for positive sequence current, it's the same formula that we used for voltage. It was just voltage. It's the same thing for voltage and current. So it will be IA plus AIB plus a squared IC. So AIB, let me write these things as subscript. Otherwise we will get confused later on. IA S AIB squared IC, and we need to know the value of this one.
Then I'm getting 0 for positive sequence current. I'm not sure if it's the correct answer, but it's 0 kilo ampere.
Yeah, it's supposed to be 0. You got the right one. Anyone else getting IA1 as 0?
Magnitude of
Your volume is low. Can you please speak a bit louder?
I don't know if you can hear me now.
Yes.
For negative sequence current, I got 0 with magnitude 0. I got
No.
10. I mean, it's 10 kilo amperes with 0.
Yes. For negative sequence, the formula is IA plus A squared IB plus AIC. It's the same formula like, and 10. What is happening? It's not typing. This key is not working. Okay, 10 at an angle. Sorry, I'm just using 10 at an angle 0 degree kilo ampere. Everyone getting that? And these are all subscripts. So if we go now to understand that part, what the problem states. ACB is the phase sequence which is conventionally, which is negative sequence. Right, from the solution due to negative sequence, we see VA2 is equal to VA, and VA0 is equal to 0, VA1 is equal to also 0. So when it's negative sequence, when it's negative phase sequence, the negative sequence component will be present. The other two will be 0. When the phase sequence is negative, the system is balanced. That's why we're getting negative sequence component equal to the magnitude and angle of one of those, the phase A, and then the other two are 0 because it's a balanced system. These two components are 0 because the system is balanced. Two factors are related to two things. This VA2 is equal to VA and the other two are 0 because of two things, negative sequence and the system is balanced. So we need to always make sure that we observe or look at these things or note these two things, the sequence and if the system is balanced or not. Right, is that clear to everyone? I give a moment for you to write down. I did not write it like the way I wrote it for the first one, but as we have that one already, I'm writing it in short for this one. What the problem is stating in terms of the phase sequence, what we are observing from the negative phase sequence. Okay, now it's 45. I'll have 15 minutes for the feedback. Should we go to the feedback now? What do you say? Can we go to the feedback?
Yes, sir, if you're fine with it.
Okay, thank you very much. So we'll continue next week. I'll put these things later on the website.
I'm sorry, sir.
Yes.
Could you also post the first tutorial on the load flow?
Yeah, I will. I was remembering about that this morning, but it was very busy. I couldn't do that. I'm still outstanding with one of those, and also in selected topics, the presentation slides. I'll put them today.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thanks. So you'll see the comments on the screen. Please let me know when you see the comments. It's a Word file.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, let me make it a little bit big. So what happened when I was marking it? It's not easy when we find things like many things that is not good, not supposed to be shown that way in the report. But I tried to consolidate them. Not everything written on this Word file belongs to one report, but it's again a common report. I'll do a presentation on how to write a report later on. If I find a time, maybe during Friday or somewhere there, because you have lectures as well, so I don't want to disturb that one. But I'll try. If I cannot make it on Friday, I think Tuesday is good time. Because Tuesday is normally a practical day's time, so it should be free for you, for the students. So what I have found is that some of you are not happy. I was also not happy. Honestly, I was more unhappy than you are actually, because I don't want to hide, because I always say that when you present a report or anything to any authority, it doesn't necessarily need to be only examination. You will be working as an engineer, and then you are submitting your reports to your clients, to your boss, to anyone. So that needs to be perfect. Okay, nothing is perfect in this world, but we need to try as much as we can. We cannot just submit anything when we think that we have done it and it's the best. Yes, that's the best that we could produce, but that's not the best. Even if I write something and submit it to someone, they will find out something and will tell me that these are the things that are wrong, that are not supposed to be there. There are things that were supposed to be there but not there. So what I have found, I have consolidated in terms of bullet points. I will show you. So the first is I found that many of you are writing that this paper is showing this and that. It's not a paper, it's a report. So if you're writing it's a paper, if you get 1 mark deducted. There is no way that it's a paper. You must not write it a paper. But what happens to you, you are copying it from a paper and you wrote it just like that. So you must not write it a paper. When it's a paper, when you are writing a paper, conference paper, a journal paper, you are writing a paper. So then you write that this paper. When you're writing a report, you must say that it's a report. Every word has some specific meaning and they are very seriously taken into the account. So many used the word the paper. And then this is what was very serious. In many reports, it was not indicated what you have done, why, and how. Some wrote, not everyone, like I mentioned earlier, not everything on this Word file belongs to one single report. It's a combination of all. Many did not write that they have done the load flow studies, why the load flow studies have been done, to understand what or to learn what is needed to be mentioned, how it is done. Some wrote that we used Gauss-Seidel algorithm, we used Newton-Raphson method, we used first decoupled method. It has to be clearly mentioned, although the words are there somewhere else, but it has to be written in one paragraph, what is done and why and how. It's very important. Then coming to the abstract, some were actually very frustrating to me to read the 2 lines, 2 sentences, 3 sentences. It tells me I don't know how I could tell myself what I'm reading. Why is it satisfying to me to read something? It has to be satisfying. It has to attract me to read that. When it's 2, 3 sentences, it doesn't attract me at all. So it tells me that either I don't want to say the word LAZY, or I don't have time. I'm doing it just for because I have to get some marks, get the pass and get a degree. If it is something like that, there is nothing we can do, honestly. So if we write 2, 3 sentences or even 4 sentences, then there is no depth, no insight, no understanding, no effort actually. So make sure that abstract is very serious. Abstract actually is the movie summary. People used to buy a ticket reading the movie summary. If they are not happy with the movie summary they read, they won't buy the ticket to watch the movie. So it's very important. If you're writing something like that, some were good. I gave even one student, I remember I gave 5 out of 5. There were 5% mark. I gave 5. Most of them were okay, not good. I gave 4. Some of them I gave 3. I had to give 2, I think, in few cases, because I couldn't do much, honestly. Then some of us, I used to always say that, you always keep your eyes open, your ears open. Like many times I tell you, again, I'm repeating that when you watch TV, any program, you can learn many things. But I found that MATLAB is written like MATLAB, like this one, even MTLAB. What does it mean? What does it tell? If people from outside the university who knows what MATLAB is, if they see these words, will they hire us? How they will talk about us if they see these things? Yes, we are unhappy with the marks, but they will not even think about the marks or our degree that we have got from university. They will think something else of us. So we need to be a little bit serious in terms of what we're doing. And then I found the texts are never aligned for many reports to both margins. They just write, never worry. It annoys my eyes. I don't know whether it annoys yours or not, but to me it was. This is a very simple thing. If you start a new Word document, like I'm starting a new document, and if you just click this one before you start like type a letter here, if you do this, everything will be aligned, and then later on you have to keep something in the center or left aligned or right aligned. You just select on that one and then click on that one. It's done. So it's so simple, but we don't want to do that. But you get your mark deducted for that as well. Then coming to the abstract again, abstract was not giving a proper summary of the report that I have mentioned. It has to give a proper summary of the report. Then in many cases I found that spelling and grammar checks were not done. Referencing style was different for some. It's supposed to be IEEE. We're not practicing Harvard or APA or any other style. We are practicing IEEE style. So we have to follow the IEEE style, and we have to be consistent as well throughout the entire document. We are not using other styles, so it has to be IEEE style. And again, we have found that different fonts were used in main text and in the content of the tables, list of figures and all the stuffs. And also inside the main text, I found that different fonts were used. It means simply if I'm sitting in front of the screen, not on the other side of the screen, like we watch those television when they show us someone is working on computer, they always show you. I have noticed it, observed it very carefully on those SOPs. They show us the backside of the laptop or the computer. They don't show us the screen in most of the cases. Few cases they show us. So we are sitting in front of the computer screen, not on the other side. And when we find different fonts are in the main texts, it means that some texts were copied and pasted, and after that it was left like that, not probably even rephrasing or checking if it is different font or different font size, even font color as well. Because sometimes when you copy from websites, they come like that with different colors as well. So we must make sure that we don't do such thing. And then many cases were found that the words were using bold lettered bold cases. We don't need to bold them unnecessarily. We bold them when it is required, meaning the section headings, subsection headings, not everywhere. Even inside the tables, I found that headers were bold. No, you don't need to bold the headers unless it is specified by some publication house. Normally, we go to submit to a conference paper or a journal paper. They will tell us that our table headers must be having bold words. So it's unnecessary. Bold, italics, all these features, attributes actually. We don't do it unnecessarily, right? So that's that one. And then I come to the introduction. Introduction was very, very thin. Again, I found that 4 or 5 sentences, 6 sentences, quarter of a page is written. Is very thin. It's not a proper introduction. It was reading more like a little bit of theory. It's not introducing the current work, meaning it's not introducing the reader to the load flow study that has been done using 3 different algorithms for 3 different IEEE bus systems. It's not telling at all. So that's where you lose the marks as well. Then theory section, it was confused with the methodology to many of you. Theory section showed a little effort for some. There was no proper approach to demonstrate the theory. It was just copying and pasting of words and equations. That's what I found. We need more time effort to make a compact and a good theory presentation in the report. Methodology, many of you showed theories of load flow analysis in the methodology section. It's methodology, how we are going to utilize the methodology to do the study. In this case, it's the simulation study. Some of you have showed different IEEE buses, meaning the copying and pasting of figures and with few words either above the figure or below the figure. And many even did not worry about writing a word or two, just copied and pasted some figures. 6 bars, 14 bars, and 30 bars. That's not acceptable. It's just laziness of ours is demonstrated in the report. So this needs to be shown appropriately. And the methodology, what it should show, it should show how the algorithms, this meaning the Gauss-Seidel, Newton-Raphson, and first decoupled method will be used together with the IEEE buses, meaning together with those 3 IEEE buses. And you must show the data set that you are using from the literature that you have got for the IEEE buses in that methodology section. Many did not even worry about showing the data set in the methodology. Methodology and theory section was actually absolutely a bit of disaster. And then many even didn't show where the IEEE bus data were taken from. It should have been actually taken from IEEE journal papers, not from anywhere, not from website and all those things. So that is also one of the biggest concern. And then in many cases I found it was written like 6 bars, 14 bars. What is 6 bars, 14 bars? It doesn't make any sense. We are supposed to work on IEEE 6 bars, IEEE 14 bars, IEEE 30 bars. So it has to be clearly written. If you say 6 bars is fine, you can. But what is that 6 bars? You have to define it. You have to tell the reader what is that 6 bars. that you are mentioning here or referring to. So these are technically incorrect. If I just say 6 bars, 14 bars, again it shows that is simply laziness, or we don't care. I'm happy with what I'm saying or what I'm doing. It's just like that. People don't even care about that when they are reading, especially for examination or for assessment purposes. And I found that citations are not there. In many cases, many sections without citation. Equations are coming without citation. Texts are coming, serious text. These are technical aspects. You are saying something about Gauss-Seidel, you are saying something about Newton-Raphson, you are talking about first decoupled method. There is no citation. Are you telling that you have developed Gauss-Seidel iteration method, or you have developed first decoupled method or Newton-Raphson method by yourself, if you are not showing the citation for each and every step? So that's also a serious thing. And then formatting of the document was not there. It's such a basic thing, like I was telling about the alignment of the text to both margin. Formatting was not there. Things are everywhere, as if just copy and paste or things like that. That's all was going on when we were preparing the document. And we found that in many cases equation numbers were not there. We just wrote the equation. In some cases even equations were copied and pasted. It's not allowed. Equation numbers in some cases were there, but there was no standard style and there was no consistency. So if you are now showing the number, you need to make sure now your style is followed consistently throughout the document and you are following a standard style. So you cannot just write the way you please. Again, if you can, but you lose mark. And then in some of the reports I found the word they writing experimentation. We did not do any experimentation. Experimentation is normally the word is referring to some sort of physical activities, like in science engineering laboratories we do experiment. We use physical components, gadgets or equipment, devices, things like that. But we are doing only simulation. So it's not experimentation, it's simulation. And why do we need to understand this? It's the basic thing. When I'm going to tell you that I'm going to do the experiment on a motor, do I now refer it to a physical motor, or do I refer to a motor that I'm going to use in MATLAB or PSCAD or in any other software? So that you need to understand, because you will need to supply me those. You are the manager of mine. So if I'm giving you a wrong word, then you will make sure. So I'm going to do an experimentation using a motor. So you immediately, I told you, you are now making an arrangement to buy a motor for me. But after you bought the motor, then I told you, oh, no, I'm doing simulation. I'm using MATLAB, and vice versa. So that we need to know that part. Then simulation results. In many reports, I found they just have the subheading or heading simulation results, not a single word in the main section of the simulation, not a single word. On the tables, some graphs. That's completely unacceptable. Why are you showing that table? What that table has? Yes, it has a caption, but that caption is just for caption. It's just to refer to that table. But you don't have any text. You're not writing what that table is showing. Why are those values are like that? Why those graphs are like that? It needs to be explained. That was not there in most of the cases. And many, that's what I wrote here, that many only showed tables. There was no graphs. There was no analysis or discussion. Some showed some discussion at the end. Then in simulation results, I also found that some just copied and pasted results from MATLAB. It's not acceptable. If it's a tabular form, create a table, and some of you did create a table and put them, which is good, but they were also lacking any sort of analysis or discussion. That's why the marks were lost. So actually many, they copied it from the screen, and it's like a table. It's not a table, it's just a picture, and you know it that it was done like that. And I also suspected some, even from Kim, like, or from somewhere else. I suspected that even they did not probably do the MATLAB simulation. I don't know. I'm not sure of that. But it looked like that, because when we see something, we suspect. Especially when we sit on the assessment side, it is one of our activity that we have to suspect because of whatever is going on the other side. So I suspect it's just copied and pasted. I might be wrong. But for that, I suspicious part, I did not deduct any mark. But when I see the tables are copied and pasted from MATLAB, that part is confirmed, because you can see it from the Word file. That is a picture. It's not a table created using MS Word. So coming to the discussion, at the end, some of you did present some discussions. Some were not there at all. But when I found those discussion, I read them, and I found that it's merely observation, meaning you're saying it's increasing or decreasing, it's all of them are same, no change. It's just observation. We need deep thinking and analyzing or explaining the findings technically. You need to explain the findings technically, why they are same, why they are different. That was not there. And then the number and unit, they must have a space in between, like you cannot write 10 volt like this. It has to be 10 volt like this. The first one is incorrect, this is wrong, and this is correct. So it has to be like that. Also remember these things for the selected topic as well, for the next one that are coming. The diagrams, so when you are copying and pasting, you make sure that the diagram has good quality. Some of them are even poor quality. These days, with the advent of this science and technology, these softwares, we can draw very good quality pictures, simple line and block diagrams like IEEE 6 bus, 14 bus, and 30 buses. They are copied and pasted. They are very, very poor in many cases, very poor. We don't accept that. And like I mentioned, they are copied and pasted. Copying and pasting is not allowed. Even if you are using that same diagram, you have to redraw it. You can redraw it using a drawing software. We have a lot of drawing software that are available online for free as well. So you can use that. Copying and pasting diagrams are not allowed. When you're taking those, you're not showing the citations. Where are you taking it from? No citation, just the figure is copied and pasted and done. And then I'm coming to the table figure caption. For tables and figure, captions are wrong. For tables, a caption is a table showing. It's a table already. You don't have to say that a table. It's a figure. You're showing figure showing this, or figure showing this graph, voltage graph, magnitude graph, or phase angle graph. It's already a graph. You don't have to make sure that you check some journal papers how they caption the tables and figures. These table and figure captions were wrong in most of the cases. And in some cases, I found that tables and figures were having same captions. It cannot happen. If you have two figures in your report, two figures, none of the two figures can have same captions like the names that you have at like in our families. If you like Luvo has a brother. I don't know if he has a brother, or elder or younger. None of them can have the same name like Luvo. So it's the same thing in any report, in any paper, or any article, any document. No two tables or figures can have the same name, but you are giving the same name. And in many cases, I found that tables and graphs, they have the title as at the top. You don't have to have that, because you have a caption. Caption is mandatory. You have to have a caption. Caption sits at the bottom for the figure. Captions normally sit at the top for a table. That was also not mentioned. I forgot to note it down, but I'm telling you now. For tables, the caption will go at the top. For figures, the caption will go at the bottom. But what I found for figures, I found there is a title that comes from MATLAB. that title is not necessary because it makes it redundant. So you use only the mandatory one, which is the caption going at the bottom of the figure with a number. Then I come to the conclusion. In many cases, again, it was written in haste because that's the last part. We need to write it and then we'll be done. So that was that like that. I found in many cases, in some cases it was good. I gave 4 again and so on. So the effort was very minimum in writing those conclusions. And again, I noted that 2, 3 or 4 sentences were there in conclusion. Reference listing was poor in many cases. Some were good. Some followed some styles, but still was not consistent. Consistency was also very important. Style is important. And in many cases, I found that there were no formatting because you are using an automatic table, and automatic table doesn't do the formatting. You have to do the formatting, and you make sure that the style is there, IEEE style. And in many cases, there is no style; it's just there. And then the most unfortunate thing, which I probably told you in many cases from first year, if you remember it, there was electrical for you, Wikipedia. If you want to work using something like Wikipedia and electrical for you, I don't think we need to spend so much of money and do all this hard work to come to a university and do all these things. So Wikipedia is available to everyone, anyone who has a phone these days and some sort of data can go to electrical for you and Wikipedia electronic for you and so on. They can do whatever they want to do. So then how, if they can do that, not being registered at the university, just having a phone and some amount of data, then why are we claiming ourselves better than themselves? These days, I'm telling you, are very lucky that we have access to IEEE. When I came here in South Africa, IEEE access was not here at UKZN. It was me who initiated to talk to the higher authorities and to pay 1 million rand per annum. They did not pay. It was me who, I fought actually for 3-4 years to get IEEE access. So you must use those top level articles from IEEE Explore, not electrical for you. I even told many times to many of us that if you are going to electrical for you, it's not, it means that electrical is not for you. I don't mean to you, but it's simply, it's bad. Honestly, it's very bad. We should not go to use. So you see that it's 42 points here. And the other one I forgot to write. So if I deduct 1 mark for each of them, where we end up? We end up already at 58. So 58 will be the highest mark. But what was the highest mark? I think it was 76. So I know that you are unhappy, but you need to put some sort of efforts to make it better. It's not for me, it's for you. You need to understand that and remember that it's not for me. And writing and preparing documents is an effort that we need to put for the learning purposes, because this, even if we give you the degree, you come to my office, I can print out your degree certificate for you. It's okay, I'll give it for free. Will that work? Will not work. So I gave marks where I could, like I mentioned, if it was okay, I gave 4 out of 5, 3 out of 5. But in some cases, there's no way I could give marks. That's why the marks were low, and very few students got low marks. But yeah, we need to make sure that we put more effort. If you have any question, can you please ask? Otherwise, I can take the questions. Today is already the time for next lecture. Do you have a lecture now?
I know something about lecture finish.
Okay, so you can ask the question and let us finish this part today so that we can continue with the tutorial tomorrow. Let me take the questions from you.
Hi, sir. I was messaged by the class to ask a few questions on behalf of the class.
Mm,
Okay, so the first question is for ELO, is it the average of all points?
yes.
Okay. Um, Another question is, if a student didn't pass the prac, will you allow for resubmission?
Will allow. I told this one. I discussed this one in the very beginning when I actually took. If you remember, I took very long time to explain on these assignments. Even I went inside of it and discussed these things. And that time I also mentioned that I'll give another chance. But when the second assignment is done, then I'll see the total picture. You will see the total picture. The student will know that one got 50 in the first one, the second one got 40, or the first one is 40, second one is 60. So is the still the average is 50 is fine. So we'll do that after the second assignment.
Okay.
Any other question?
Sir,
Yes.
for the methodology part, are we expected to write like the experimental, the procedure and like the equipments we used, and like mentioning that we use MATLAB and stuff?
Yes, actually you are supposed to write it such a way that, let's say I did not do this simulation, right? You did it. So if I read that and follow those steps, I can do it myself. So it doesn't matter how you're writing it, but it matters whether someone will be able to follow whatever you're mentioning there and do exactly what you did.
Okay, sir.
You can write it using bullet points, you can show a diagram, you can write some text to explain, or there will be a trick for a certain portion that this is what you have to do. You can mention those. So that the main point is that whether I can follow those steps and do the simulation by myself or not. That is what is to be shown there. So for example, like I was mentioning that in the methodology, many of the reports are showing only Gauss-Seidel method. So if I know the Gauss-Seidel method only, can I do the simulation and get the results that you got? No. I need to combine them with the IEEE bus system. I need to get the data for the IEEE bus system. Those things were absent. Is that clear now?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Methodology, like you teaching me how you cooking something. So you cooking chicken curry. So that's what we call it recipe. Give me the recipe, meaning you teach the steps, starting from what you need to buy, how you clean them, wash them, and how you chop them, how you marinate them, how long you need to keep it them, then how you start cooking, put the oil, how many teaspoons full, and all those stuffs. So if you miss one step, your curry will not be good, or it might be impossible to cook like the way you cooked. Does it make it clear?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Any
I'm
other
sorry, sir.
questions? Yes.
Could you actually email us
Yeah,
this
I can.
document so we can
Yes.
keep it for the next assignments?
Yes, I will. Any other question? Any other question? So are you okay with this?
So one more question. One student wanted to know whether the Turnitin percentage of their report had a factor in their marks.
No, I even did not check it honestly.
Okay.
Because I trusted you, because I what I wanted to teach ourselves is that we don't cheat ourselves. You know, Turnitin is about cheating. We don't use the word cheating, but is the other word they use, a fancy word, because we want to be a good people who use good words. That's why they put a word like plagiarism, because it doesn't seem to sound like cheating. So because we want to be good people talking only using only good words, so we use it's practically cheating. So we don't want to go there. And that's why I was referring to 15% and below. So I trust you that you don't do that. So I actually did not check it at all. And it was not related, the mark was not related to Turnitin at all.
Okay, thanks, sir.
So are you okay with happy now or still unhappy with the marks? I know it's unhappiness, but what can we do? We need to make it right for ourselves and for our future, because this is how we are going to display ourselves. Okay, writing out is not easy, but there are few things that we can definitely make better. Definitely we can make them better. Okay, thank you very much. Keep well, be safe all the time.